And welcome to another edition of Hunt to Eat's Community Kitchen. My name is Michael Craven. Today we are stuffing a mule deer backstrap with all sorts of wonderful things. We are going to use cheese, we are going to use wild mushrooms, garlic, bacon. This is going to be delicious and it is very easy to do. So stick around and I'll show you how. Alright, first we have our ingredients. Spinach, then we have a mixture of 3 cheeses. We have cream cheese, goat cheese, and Parmesan. Then we have a yellow onion, garlic, mushrooms. I have morel mushrooms and lobster mushrooms, of course bacon, and then the last backstrap of my 2019 archery mule deer. Now regarding my ingredient amounts, I am making way more stuffing here than you would need for one backstrap. I use this for a variety of projects. Heck, I even made an omelet the next morning out of it. I made a nice steak roulade, which I'll throw some pictures up of at the end. So yeah, adjust those ingredients to however you see fit. This is not a recipe that you need exact amounts. You can add here, you can take away there, you can throw in other things. It's still going to turn out great. So a lot of people like to take the bacon and wrap the backstrap after stuffing it. And of course that turns out great. It looks incredible, it tastes incredible. I wanted to get a little bit more smoke into my backstrap and maybe a little bit of that Maillard reaction as well. So in this case I'm going to chop my bacon up, fry it up crisp, and mix it into the stuffing. So we're just going to add that to a skillet over medium heat and give it a little stir around, keeping an eye on it, checking on it here and there until it gets nice and crisp. Once our bacon gets to where we want it, nice and crisp, we're simply going to remove it and set it aside. Let's move on to prepping the rest of our ingredients here. Now, I talked about how easy this is to do, and of course it is, but there is a little bit of work involved, mostly in prep of our ingredients. So, got a lot of chopping to do, so let's just go ahead and get started with our onion. And then our garlic. I like to slice my garlic. I think it makes for a nice presentation, and I never really use too much doing it this way. And then finally our mushrooms. Of course, you can use any kind of mushrooms you want for this recipe, but these are morel mushrooms and lobster mushrooms from the mountains of Arizona. And now back to our same skillet that we fried that bacon in. We're going to drain off all that grease, leaving about a tablespoon. And then we're going to add our onions and our mushrooms, give it a good stir, and we're going to let this simmer relatively low for a good long time until everything cooks down, until the onions are nice and translucent and everything's nice and soft. We don't want it to burn, so we're going to keep it low and slow. Take your time, but once you get to this point, we're just going to go ahead and remove that and set it aside. And now in a mixing bowl, we're going to add our cheese mixture, our bacon, our mushroom, onion, and garlic mixture, and then we're just going to give it a good mixing until everything is nice and evenly distributed. And now on to our backstrap. So we need to open this thing up and make a place for our stuffing. To do that, we're going to make a slice right down the center, being careful not to cut all the way through. Then a slice down one side, and then the other. So basically just 3 slices so we can open this thing up. And once we have our backstrap all laid out open, I'm going to go ahead and line it with spinach. To do this, I'm just going to simply tear off the stems and lay a nice layer down. And once we have that layer of spinach down, we'll go ahead and stuff our backstrap. This stuff is delicious, so you don't really want to skimp on it, but it is also rich, so you don't have to go overboard. So just use good judgment when you wrap this thing up. You don't want all this stuffing being squeezed out, so use an appropriate amount. Now that we're all stuffed, we've got to wrap this thing up to keep all that filling in, and to do this we're going to cut a few lengths of kitchen twine. Now we're simply going to take and do our best to, wrap the meat around the stuffing and just tie it off using simple overhand knots, and then we'll just continue this down the length of the backstrap. So there you have it, one stuffed mule deer backstrap ready for the smoker. Now my smoker is set to about 220 degrees, and it'll take about 30 minutes to bring this piece of meat to temperature. Temperature for me in this case is 140 degrees, which is hotter than I would usually cook a piece of venison. This is for aesthetics reason, as I don't want blood and juices mixing with that white stuffing in the end, so we're going a little longer. So about 30 minutes later we're ready to take this thing off. And it does not look bad. There you have it. The backstrap is widely regarded as one of the best cuts of meat on an animal. And quite honestly, you don't need to do anything fancy with it. You can just sear it in a cast iron with a little salt and pepper, and it is absolutely delicious. But if you want to do something a little bit different, maybe something a little bit special, or try to impress a non-hunting friend with some wild game cooking, this is certainly a good way to do it. With that, my name is Michael Craven, and this has been Hunt to Eat's Community Kitchen. Enjoy.